Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and well, if you thought Uber was going to be doing better after laying off 3,700 people, I've got some bad news for you. They are not doing good. They are drowning. They are thrashing. They are jumping all over the place. And it even has resulted in some pretty stark admissions in today's story. In fact, they're so stark, I am amazed the stock went up. Like, I sometimes wonder if Wall Street does not think about how it is to run a company. Like, they're looking at what's going on, like, oh, Uber's getting rid of all these jobs, so they're saving money, so they must be good. But it's like, no, there's a lot more going on, and they're not doing good at all. They're not. But let's look at the main headline. Uber is cutting another 3,000 jobs. They are cutting another 3,000 jobs. So Uber, in the last 2 weeks, have laid off almost 7,000 people who now need to be on unemployment, who are not contributing to the economy, thus helping create a bigger problem. And of course, their drivers really aren't working either. So let's look at this. Uber has cut 3,000 jobs from its workforce. Its second major wave of layoffs in 2 weeks as the C virus demand for rides. The San Francisco company has cut a quarter of its workforce since the year began, eliminating 3,700 people from the payroll earlier this year. What's more, there's no promise that this is not the last one. In fact, this is probably a very stark thing because Dara Khosrowshahi has commented on the layoffs. Having learned my own personal lesson about the unpredictability of the world from the punch in the gut called the C virus, I will not make any claims with absolute certainty regarding our future. I will tell you, however, that we are making really, really hard choices now so that we can say our goodbyes, have as much clarity as we can, move forward, and start to build again with confidence. Now, here's something that Dara Khosrowshahi is not learning. I learned in business when I took some business classes from a teacher who owns several personal businesses who has had to make cuts, and he says that they are painful. He says he has a philosophy when it comes time to laying people off. You do it once and you do it deep. Basically, you find out, okay, what we need to make cuts, what's the most we can cut and get away with, and we do it once and we don't do it again, at least not for several years. He does this because, look, layoffs suck. They absolutely suck. There's no debating that. But here's the thing. You know what sucks even more for a company that requires their employees to have good productivity? It's constantly laying people off and having these people fear, like, what day am I going to get fired? You do it once and you do it deep and you say, that's all we're cutting and that's going to be it. Get back to work. You guys are safe, barring the company going completely out of business, of course. And it does two things. You make the cuts you need to make, but it provides some security for the people who are still working there that they will not lose their jobs. But it's not even the end of that, because buried in beneath all these jobs lost, like how they've let go 25% of their staff this year, there was a bigger admission that I was shocked by. So Uber will be refocusing on its core business, moving people and delivering food and groceries, said Dara Khosrowshahi in a note to employees Monday. Here's where it gets really interesting. The ride-hailing giant will be closing or consolidating 45 offices globally, probably green hubs, and almost all departments will be affected by layoffs. The company is closing its business for developing products and services for its platform and a unit working on artificial intelligence. It will also pursue strategic alternatives for its job recruiting app. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? That they will be closing its business for developing products and services for its platform and a unit working on artificial intelligence. Guys, that's the self-driving cars. Uber is pausing development on self-driving cars. You know what they're also pausing development on? they're pausing development on Uber Freight, which is profitable. Now, what are they going to do going forward? Well, the rides business is their core business. They definitely want that to come back. What was also mentioned in this article, and of course you can read the whole article below, is that Uber will be doubling down on food delivery since that appears to be where business is at least for the immediate future. But here's the thing. Food delivery will not be a forever thing. It's doing especially well now that we're all stuck indoors and we can't go out for the most part, but it also adds a good, by some estimates, 91% to the order. Sometimes you're paying double to have something delivered from Uber Eats, or you're buying more food than you need. In fact, a week ago we used Uber Eats, and I'm not going to be using them anymore because of the high fee structure, which I probably should have known about, but you know. And I remember we just wanted to get Wiener Schnitzel, but to get what we wanted meant paying a business fee and a small order fee and all these fees, which I knew about. So we ended up buying like an additional $15 worth of food just to avoid the fees. So it's not sustainable for a lot of people to do this. And the thing is, once the restaurants start reopening, people are going to want to go back out again. They don't want to be in the house anymore. They're tired of it. So what's Uber doing? They're putting the things that make them worth investing in on hold while they chase the food delivery market, because that's the only thing that's doing well for them right now, and they're hoping that will keep them afloat. Now, in this article, Khosrowshahi has said the food delivery is not profitable yet, but he hopes to get it profitable this year. Now, here's the thing. What if, yes, he does get it profitable this year, but by the time it's profitable, people are allowed to go back outside again. They're not using the delivery apps as much. Well, guess what? Now you got to go back to rideshare, and you got to go back to developing your, freight and your self-driving car things, but that's going to cost a lot of money, which you don't have. You're running out of money. And that's why Uber, by the way, made an offer for Grubhub, which I hear they turned down, by the way. Because right now, food's where it's at, and they're trying to get the money from the food market before it dries up. But here's the thing. More job cuts, I believe, are coming. Like, what if Uber lays off 10,000 people? They'll probably never get those people back. And, hey, when they can become stronger again, they can rehire, who's going to want to go to Uber? Like, all you hear about Uber every single quarter is that jobs are cut. Uber's getting a reputation for when it's time for the earning results to come in, guess what? People are losing their jobs because they're not making any money. And they're not growing like they should. So I think this is the beginning of the end for Uber. I've said, people have been asking me over and over, when do you think Uber will go under? I said, well, they've probably got another year or two in the bag, and I've kind of got off, but maybe we're at that point. Maybe we're at that point. The food isn't going to save them. And the rideshare business is tanked. And if they're not developing that self-driving car, which wasn't going to be working out anyway, by the way, but since they're not developing that, what incentive is there for an investor who's thinking about the future to invest in Uber? They're not developing what they want them to develop that could make them the leader. So I think Uber's in some real serious trouble right now. And I don't feel bad for them at all. I mean, I feel bad for the people who lost their jobs, but do I feel bad that Uber itself is struggling? No, not really. So we're just going to have to wait and see where this goes. But I am curious, what do all of you folks out there think about this? Do you feel sorry for Uber, or do you not feel compassion? Do you think this is the beginning of the end for Uber, or do you think, nah, they're going to survive this? I'd like to know. Comment below. Type in 714 to let me know you got to the end. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, blame responsibly. Have a good one.